All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday here to talk about professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring. Also, backstage curtain drama, superstar news, updates, injuries, contract statuses, and stuff like that. Make sure you tune in. We talk about everything from AEW to WWE to, Ring of Honor, TNA, and NXT. Obviously, the NXT is becoming its own entity, so we got to start saying NXT. So I don't know anything about professional wrestling. Of course, if you guys have a burning question, make sure you hit up the chat. Would absolutely love to hear from you guys 1,010%. Let's go ahead and move on to our second segment. But before we do any of that, definitely 1,010% want to remind you guys to use this super chat box. We get a number of questions from viewers like you that come in during the show. If you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, you can share it. If you're dying to share, we are all ears. This show is all about keeping the conversation lively, keeping the party going, making sure your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop in your thoughts in the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comments or questions gets noticed, why not use that super chat box? Just hit the $ below the chat box, send in your message, and it's guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. 1,010%. Your super chats help us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome wrestling content that you love so much. We are so grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here. Your support makes a lot of the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Send in those super chats, super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And, together we can make this show a hell of a lot better. And if the super chat, obviously, if that's not your thing, obviously you can hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Give me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Give me some, hardcore takes on professional wrestling. I love talking about some hardcore takes about professional wrestling. So, definitely love hearing conflicting, just views in terms of professional wrestling. Just, keeps the thing going. I like to kind of see this podcast as like, you kind of walk up to a bar, you're watching wrestling, and then even if they do have the wrestling on top of the tube, usually, it's kind of crazy. Usually, like if you go on a late Monday night when there's not Monday Night Football, and if it's not baseball season or basketball season, they always usually play, some, I don't know, they just play Sports Center, and you're like, dude, turn on some Monday Night Raw, dude. Like, come on. But, you pull up a saddle net up next to somebody, you just want to, break up a conversation, buy them a drink, hang out, chill. And, you just talk about some wrestling. You can watch this podcast, you can hang out, and, think of me as, that guy at the bar stool next to you. Be like, hey, totally talk to this guy. This guy's not weird at all. Definitely not weird. Maybe a little weird. I'm just kidding. No. But here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love you guys. We, remember the Superman punch, that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the network. It's the best sports network around. So give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that you will never, ever regret hitting that subscribe button. All right, so let's talk about Thursday night wrestling. It's Thursday. You know what that means? Ring of Honor. I'm just kidding. No, it's not though. But then again, it is owned by Tony Khan, so maybe maybe a little bit more excitement in terms of Ring of Honor. But it's a jam-packed night of championship action is underway tonight on Honor Club. So let's do it. Ring of Honor World Championship match. We have Mark Briscoe taking on Johnny TV. I like Johnny TV. I feel like he kind of had his 15 minutes of fame already inside the WWE, and he kind of came back hot, from the independent wrestling scene, and people thought he was going to be more. Ended up teaming up with the Miz again, have a tag team title run, and then once again it kind of fizzled out. Like, not, kind of throwing shade at his talent or anything like that. In terms of professional wrestling, it is a very cutthroat industry, and people are coming in from absolutely anywhere. And when I say everywhere, I mean absolutely anywhere. From countries all over the world, from England, from Germany, from France, from Spain, Puerto Rico, you name it. They all love professional wrestling. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. There's a long list of people who've been watching wrestling since it kind of got its hype back in the 80s. Back when it was like 80s wrestling. But, this match is going to be great. I feel like it's going to be a nice way for Johnny TV to kind of, show that he's still a contender in the main event kind of card area. Does he have a chance against Mark Briscoe? I think no way. This is one championship match that Mark Briscoe is going to fight. That I feel confident saying that. Yeah, I think the dude's gonna win. You know what I mean? My dog. I was a little skeptical about Kyle Fletcher because Kyle Fletcher was doing so damn good. Mark Briscoe was able to pick up the victory. And then we had Roderick Strong take on Mark Briscoe at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. And then, just 2 days earlier, we saw Mark Briscoe participate in that hellacious, just that crazy ass. Oh my God, it was insane. It was like it was blood and guts match against the elite. But all in all, it was he was able to pick up the victory, and it was an absolute shock. I was like, damn, this guy's a beast. This guy's a beast. But you know why Ring of Honor keeps the title on this guy is that he's just electric. You hear him talking on the mic, you see him inside the ring performing. This guy's jumping off the chairs. He's doing backflips off the top rope from the apron. This guy literally doesn't. He literally puts everything on the line to entertain the fans. And I think Ring of Honor couldn't have gotten any luckier with Mark Briscoe. And obviously, before he passed away, Jay Briscoe, the Briscoe brothers, definitely, wrestling royalty, 1,010%. Some of the best wrestling I've ever seen in my lifetime as a professional wrestling fan. So, definitely think 1,010%. Mark Briscoe is going to, retain his championship tonight. Next, we have a World TV Championship match. We have Atlantis Jr. taking on TMDK's Robbie Eagles. I think TMDK, I think he needs a little exposure. It's been a while. You had Atlantis Jr. dethrone Kyle Fletcher, which was it was shocking. I thought it was shocking 1,010% from the CMLL. But, with this new merger, I just, recently you saw Mercedes Moné become a double champion. She is the New Japan Professional Wrestling Strong. Then you also had Willow of Nightingale win the CMLL World Women's Champion. So they're not afraid to mix belts here. They're not afraid to mix belts here whatsoever. I think, Atlantis Jr., he's had a great run. I feel like he's had a great run. If I had to make a shocking prediction, I think Robbie Eagles would get the win because the TMDK, obviously numbers play. And right now, Atlantis Jr., I think right now kind of has the, stacks against him here. But, he's a great wrestler. I, can't really take anything away from Atlantis. But I don't know. I just feel like, it would create more buzz to kind of have the title go across, kind of company lines here. I think that would be, kind of be pretty badass. All right, next we have Ring of Honor World Six-Man Championship match. Dustin Rhodes teaming up with the Von Erichs, the champions Marshall and Ross, taking on Cage of Agony, Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan. This is going to be an ultimate test. This is going to be a great test for Dustin Rhodes, the Von Erichs, the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Champions, because these guys are some dudes. Brian Cage is, he's right there. I feel like he's so close to becoming part of this main event kind of caliber, stardom that he needs to reach. I feel like he should have reached it before, but I know like he kind of had his moments where he could have been, better than ever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was bad booking. I don't know if it was in terms of creative, dilemmas or anything like that. But overall, Brian Cage he's a star. He's a star, the leader of Cage of Agony. It'd be crazy. It'd be an amazing, way to pick up the win here. So, should be pretty awesome. Dustin Rhodes and Von Erichs have been busy men in the last couple of weeks after winning the Eliminator match at Death Before Dishonor 2024 to earn a spot in the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Championship match. They made most of their moment and defeated the Undisputed Kingdom at Battle of the Belts to become new champions. Just 5 days later, the trio from Texas made their defense from a newly won titles against the Iron Savages. Then last week, Dustin teamed up with Sammy Guevara to beat Dark Order in a tag team match. So, Dustin Rhodes still at his age, ready for a retirement tour, but he says he wants to retire on his time. Not so much talking about when this contract ends or anything like that, or even before that. And I think after the legacy that he's left inside professional wrestling, either if it was WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, et cetera, et cetera. He has the right to do that. I think 1,010%. But I think they're gonna pick up the victory here. I think they're gonna bounce back. I think they're gonna bounce. They're gonna hit it. They're gonna hit it tonight. Then next we have a one-on-one match. We have Arya Davari taking on Katsuyori Shibata. Shibata recently has been kind of within the whole Hook, learning tree kind of drama here. And he's had his hands full with Chris Jericho, the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, and the Big Redwood, Big Bill over on AEW Dynamite Rampage and Collision. Um, with Hook coming back in action, I think that's huge for Shibata. Now he can stop looking over his shoulders, so to speak, so much. Obviously, Hook is going to watch his back, but they're outnumbered right now. They are outnumbered. You had Chris Jericho drive Samoa Joe through a wall. Samoa Joe was hanging on the. He was laying on the forklift. He was literally written off. AEW television because he's off filming the second season of Twisted Metal, which is pretty cool. I like that. I think that's 1,010% pretty badass. But kind of starting something between the pyramid athletes here. It'd be interesting to see like them go at it like trios. The wrestler has tangled with Smart Mark Sterling's clients before on the June 22nd edition of Collision. Um, Shibata has had a lot of success in New Japan Professional Wrestling. Now it seems he needs a bounce back match. He really, really honestly needs a bounce back match. But it's not as a breeze as you think it is. Davari's he's a phenomenal athlete. Obviously, he can do things inside the ring that other wrestlers can't. Never really gets the credit. So, I watched highlights of this guy on Ring of Honor, ringofhonor.com, and I don't know. I just think a lot of people don't really give him. Obviously, you have Tony Nese; he's the dude. But got to give some credit to Davari here a little bit. And I think Katsuyori Shibata is going to have his hands full, 1,010%. Next, we have Griff Garrison with Maria taking on SAP I always say that wrong. Serpentico. I think that's pretty. We have a proving ground match. Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Majority against Action Andretti. We also have words from Ring of Honor World Women's Champion, the Fallen Goddess Athena, Harley Cameron versus Viva Van, Blake Christian against Leo Rush, Anthony Henry going against Anthony Henry and Beef in action. So, got that to look forward to as well. All right, TNA. We have first class taking on Sami Callihan and Rhino. Steve Maxlin taking on the newly signed Zion from WWE. I want to see what this newcomer has in store. I like Zion. I thought he was pretty cool. He's a very decorated athlete outside the WWE. He was a professional rugby player. I think he was a professional rugby player. I think that's badass. 1,010%. We're going to witness the fallout from PCO and Stephanie Lander's wedding. Jordan Grace has an open challenge. Joe Hendry battling NXT's Wolfgang. Plus here, Josh Alexander and much more. Rick Swan with AJ Francis take on Reverso. I think we also no. I think we also have. Dang it! I think we also have a match tonight. We also have a Ring of Honor match. We have Josh Alexander taking on the TNA World Champion Nic Nemeth in a match tonight, so that should be pretty badass. And then, of course, like I said, we'll hear from Jordan Grace. We have Emergence X, Ultimate X, Austin, Hoach, and Swan. Emergent X. Also, we have Chris Bay, John Schuyler, and Riley Osborne from NXT. We have Tasha Steelz, Gisele Shaw. We also have Mike Santana against the leader of the system, Moose. We'll hear from Steve Macklin. And then the main event, we will have Nic Nemeth against Josh Alexander. So all good stuff. It should be amazing. Obviously, TNA has been on fire lately. So I don't know. Should be pretty crazy. Should be awesome to see. All right. So now we're going to move on to our third segment. We're going to talk about Joe Hendry. We're going to talk about his future. He wants to be an NXT World Champion. He admitted that against Ethan Page on NXT. So let's go ahead and dive and talk about it. Let's talk about the legacy that Joe Hendry has had so far, debuting in the WWE. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into it. So hey, stay tuned.